Modern English. Welcome back.
Thank you kindly.
Anything seem different about the music business these days?
There isn't one.
Oh, that's what it was. Well defined.
Yeah, no, we're all a bit bigger, a bit fatter, a bit balder. Apart from that, it's all fine.
Well, the lineup of the band has sort of waxed and waned over the years, but now you're back to your original fighting weight, your original fighting lineup.
Yeah, it's the original band that recorded I Melt With You and After the Snow and all the stuff that was so popular in America, basically. Yeah.
What brought you back together?
It's all the bass players' fault.
Yeah.
I got an email, both me and Gary, the guitarist, live in Thailand, and I got an email from Mick saying, "Hey, let's get the boys back together. What do you think?"
Not completely that way.
I thought it was.
There's other people in New York who are calling themselves, believe it or not, modern English.
Oh.
Some really bad man out there. Bad man.
Yeah. So I got some information about this, and I sent an email to an old friend. I said, if this lot can masquerade as us, why don't we have a go? Basically.
So you call yourselves Modern English?
Yeah, we did. We thought, well, what were we called before? And we stuck to that, you know.
We thought if somebody else can do it, we might as well.
I got your Modern English right here.
Yeah, the real one. Yeah.
Well, speaking of your songs that were so popular in America, your song, I Melt With You, it's become sort of the go-to song for a lot of things, lots of movies and TV shows, lots of commercials, Hershey's, M&M's, Taco Bell, GMC trucks. I think I missed
Burger
that
King.
one.
Don't forget Burger King. You can never forget that
Burger
one.
King, yeah. I was just trying to remember, did they melt a truck?
No, they melt the cheese.
Melted SUV? Please tell me you got a check in the mail every time.
Oh
one
yeah,
of
that's
these
what
things
keeps us
happen.
alive. That song. I mean, yeah.
That's why you live in Thailand.
Yeah, that's why you've got a house in Thailand. No, that song's been fantastic for us. I mean, we don't, we're not one of those sort of bands that, we don't like that song. It's so popular. We love it. It's brilliant. I mean, when you play at a concert and you see everybody having a really good time, which this lot will do later when I get them on their feet for it, and they know they will. It's a brilliant song to play, just to play and have a crowd enjoy so much.
And there are no fewer than 12 cover versions recorded by artists ranging from Jason Mraz, he's got kind of a reggae version, to Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine.
I like that
kind
one.
of an interesting version too. Hey, but if you go on YouTube and just type in "I Melt With You" cover, you'll come up with a dozen or so, just kids, and they're sitting on a chair with a guitar, and they taught themselves this song and they practice it, and that's not exploitation. That's affirmation. They love the song.
There's a really good version by a band called Nouvelle Vague, which is like a kind of Latin bossa nova type thing. And they covered lots of different songs from the 80s, and ours is one of them. And that got used again on an advert in England for a phone company. So that song really has kept us afloat, basically.
Well, for your new album, Soundtrack, you worked with the same producer who helped craft some of those 80s hits, Hugh Jones. Was there any struggle with familiarity in the studio, or did...
Actually, the opposite. It was, he just let us go. Whereas before, because we weren't very competent back then in the 80s, he would guide us a bit with song arrangements, and especially with me. The first time I ever didn't shout in a vocal mic was when Hugh said, just talk into it, say your words. Because we used to just making a lot of noise, really. But with this album, he really just said, go in there and do it, and we did, and it was great.
And you also brought back the same guy who did the artwork on your early albums, Vaughn Oliver. The artwork is so much smaller now, though.
Yeah, well, the artwork's become less important because people don't really buy the whole package, do they? Like, I'm sure a lot of the people here remember when you went to a record store and you waited outside to get your favourite band's record, and the artwork and everything was all part of it.
And it was this big.
Yeah, and it was like an album size, but now it's like, it seems to have shrunk, so it's not there at all anymore. But
although you do get artwork with each download to, the screens get bigger.
But we got Vaughn Oliver, who does a 23 envelope, because, it seemed like a good idea. We'd got Hugh Jones, why not get the original artwork guy? And he'd done all the best artwork we'd ever done, or ever had. Yeah. So it just seemed natural to have him, really.
So you're not doing a nostalgia tour, though. You've got lots of new songs. How does the new stuff go over in concert?
Really well. I mean, it's quite edgy, which proves that we haven't just kind of got old and put our slippers on. Do you know what I mean? which, you know, is very difficult. I'm definitely never going to do that. So, you know, I mean,
you're not on a tour with other 80s bands playing. This is small clubs.
Well, there's been some offers for that. I mean, you know, let's put it this way: if the Psychedelic Furs or Echo the Bunnymen asked us, we'd do it. Yeah. If the Flock of Seagulls said we wouldn't, you know.
I'm so glad you said that.
You've got to have your standards, you know.
Plus, you'd have to do the hair thing again.
No, he hasn't got any bloody hair anymore. He looks like you.
Should have seen me in the 80s, though.
Yeah, I've been lucky.
Well, didn't you have a diabolical scheme at first to tour doing all the songs from one of your early albums?
Next year we may do that, hopefully. It'd be really brilliant to, I don't know, say come to somewhere like Portland and just play the whole of After the Snow with all our own lighting rigs and all ideas on stage.
Just in track order.
Yeah, you know, exactly. Yeah, just do the whole thing like that. And also maybe the first album, Mesh and Lace, which is a lot noisier, you know, maybe do that. Ricochet Days, you know, loads of different options, really.
Then you'd have to shout into the microphone again for a whole tour.
I don't mind that.
Well, now that you've kind of road tested the new songs, are you anxious to get back and work up some new ones?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we did a tour earlier the year in on the East Coast, and we went to Vegas, so we went back to loads of old haunts, and now we're over here on the West Coast, so we're just feeling it all out. We'll have to see, really. What is interesting is that one guy has got a movie coming out or in sort of mid-production called I Melt With You. And it's not the sort of film you'd imagine. It's not like, you know, Valley Girl or, you know, Breakfast Club. It's a really wild thriller. It's a really dark-looking film. So we're sort of talking to him about maybe doing some music for that. That'd be fantastic.
Well, you'd better.
Yeah, I really want to.
Playing tonight at the Aladdin Theatre. Let's hear some more. KINK Live at the Bing Lounge. It's Modern English.
Thank you.